Blood. Blood everywhere. The flesh of sirens bobbed on the water around me as I stood waist deep in the carnage. It glistened in the setting sun like the bellies of fish, silvery rainbows reflecting everywhere, a stark contrast with the deep, almost black crimson that splattered about. On my jacket, which was heavy and weighed me down as I waded through the battlefield toward the shore, I could feel the beast's blood pulling at my skin, already drying in the cracks of my face. One hand trembled while the other gripped my sword, the weapon that just laid waste to every siren in the sea. I turned and glanced over my shoulder, only to find the wreckage of siren bodies stretching all the way to the horizon. A dream. I could feel the tethers, the confines and tendrils pulling taut at the edges of my consciousness. A nightmare, really, but one that liberated me every night. But this was the first I had headed for the shore. When the toe of my boot touched the sand, the grain instantly turned red, and a trail manifested on the beach, leading my line of sight straight to the wasteland of bodies from those I loved most in the world. Hands and arms, and flesh torn apart, entrails and hair. But their faces. I dropped to my knees in the sand as a fierce roar erupted from me, and I loosened it to the skies above. Their face, everywhere, all turned to gawk at me with permanent looks of terror. Dianna, Gus, Finnegan, Lottie, little Charlie. My children. It was too much to bear. Did I do this? Was this by my hand? I couldn't recall, couldn't place the beginnings of the nightmare. I'd always entered it after the carnage, to have the horrors thrown in my face, the guilt of what I'd done searing in my veins. It could have been avoided, a strange voice scratched in my ear. You could have saved them. How? I cried. Tears burned through the blood caked to my face. One simple price, the voice now layered with the others replied. Your soul. I sprang upright in bed, clutching my chest, desperately gasping for air, just as I did every night. I wondered if I took a breath at all when I sunk into the repeating nightmare time after time. My lungs burned with every heave, and I sat there in the moonlight that covered the half-empty bed until they settled. It wasn't until then that I realized the bed wasn't as empty as I'd thought. They huddled together, two little lumps under the sheet. I pulled it back with hesitation, but when I saw their sleeping faces, so perfect, so innocent, I nearly cried at the relief. It was just a dream. I ran a hand through my damp hair as a shiver blew over my clammy skin. A quick glance at the clock told me it was 3 a.m. Another day was upon us, which marked 3 since we came through the portal without Dianna. I winced at the thought of her name. Just the mere sound of it was enough to undo me. Constance had said to be patient, to wait for the keepers to do their work. They'd find a way to send her back. It was their job. But with each passing hour, I grew more and more weary of the witch's ability to police time. She should be back by now. She should be home. But part of me worried she was lost forever.